for self-defense. And I'm going to show you a lot of different options that you can use, starting with this 54-inch Japanese or Okinawan Joe, the same length as a hiking stick or hiking pole. It's also about the same length as my painter's pole. Now, the difference between this painter's pole and this hardwood self-defense made Joe is this is a lot heavier, and this is going to hit. It's fiberglass. It's going to hit harder. This is also extendable. If you need to make it a lot longer, you can make it as long as you want for reach, which is very effective against something like this, a bladed weapon. If you have something like a painter's pole and you can extend that and you can keep somebody off of you, you know how to fight with a spear, you know how to fight with a long staff, you can defend yourself, like a quarterstaff, something like that. But what I'm going to show you, starting with this one, is how you can use it in very simple ways to stop somebody. It's like active self-protection. How do you take the action in self-protection? The most simple way to do that is to stand behind your tool for self-defense. The first thing you can do is just lift it straight up, almost like you're doing an uppercut into the air. That's going to take the length of your staff, and it's going to smash him either up under the chin or into the groin, or maybe he's reaching out, trying to hit you, trying to grab you. Hello, Garen, it's good to see you. The first motion I want you to think about is just lifting straight up. Once you've done that, put it in the other hand and then step and thrust. So we're going to keep it super simple for self-defense. Thug stopping and self-defense sticks are always using basic, simple principles. First one, with your hiking staff or your walking staff, you're going to lift it up, smash in here, and then I want you to slide your hand down, allowing you to almost do a chopping motion to the side of his head, or maybe into his neck, into his arm, into that hand that's grabbing you, or maybe he's trying to hit you with a knife. You're going to bring this up, smash, grab, thrust here, slide your hand down, and bring this forward in this diagonal strike into whatever you can remove or destroy for self-defense. These principles of self-defense come from Tim Larkin's book, When Violence is the Answer, and the basic principle is using violence against violence. What can you remove or destroy is a question you ask yourself, which helps you to acquire a target. When you're doing active self-protection, you want to smash, thrust, strike, bring the backhand forward, almost like a punch to the face, striking targets that remove his ability to see you or his ability to breathe temporarily or permanently, his ability maybe to punch you or stab you or grab you or smack you or whatever those things are. So you're removing those abilities from this person who's trying to, this thug that you're stopping with your self-defense stick. So from this position, it's in the backhand. You have this lifting motion, striking with this thrusting motion. It's simply doing this and moving your body forward as you do that. Slide your hand on that front hand forward so that you can bring the backhand through across his body. Always strike through your target and punching with that backhand. That's a series of strikes that you can practice in combination to defend yourself using thug stopping self-defense sticks, starting with a hiking pole or a walking staff. This is the Japanese Joe, but it's really just a 54-inch staff. Usually it comes up to about your armpit. I'm going to show you the same techniques using my painter's pole, just because this is how I got started. When I was a kid and I got all into spinning the staff and doing all of the fun things that I saw other people do in martial arts, and I wanted to learn those things, and took classes on some of it, learned from others, learned a lot of it on my own like you do. And I did that all starting with a painter's pole when I would take a break, unscrew it from the head of the, what do they call that, the roller, and then there I have my self-defense tool. So using this in self-defense, and again, this one's expandable, so you can extend, you can make it as long as what's that say, 8 feet. You can reach them out, you can smash them with an 8-foot pole if you have to for self-defense. So from this position, lifting this backhand up, get that into the front hand, thrust, pull it through, smashing here, smash through with that backhand, striking temple, neck. What can you remove or destroy? Comes from that book. I put the description in the description below. I put a link to Tim Larkin's book, When Violence is the Answer. Those are the principles. The techniques we're using are simple. Now, the next technique, I'm going to stick with the painter's pole, because it has this nice hard piece of metal that you screw into whatever you need to screw it into. Maybe it's the sanding head, you're sanding the wall. Maybe it's a broom or a deck brush, or maybe it's a rolling pole. But it has that hard piece of aluminum there. You're defending yourself. He pulls out a knife. You happen to be working, or you're doing jobs around the house, wherever you have your pole, or you pick up a pole, some other pole, you get it behind it, put it between you and the threat. You, this time, are just going to point your thumb at the threat and think about sticking your thumb through his throat or through his face for self-defense. So you're smashing here. Now, if you smash first, moving him back, then you can turn the pinky side coming up. And as you bring the pinky side up, that's going to allow the backside of that staff or that painter's pole to smash him across the side of his face or into his temple, removing his ability to be awake or alert, knocking him out, maybe breaking his jaw, striking to his neck for self-defense. These are thug-stopping self-defense stick moves, which is an act of self-protection. So you're thrusting, turn, smash here. You can then get it into this back hand and step and thrust using two hands. And there's that technique. Just hit the camera, bringing that back hand forward, smashing him into his face for self-defense. So this is another combination you can practice in the backhand, thrust, turn it over, two hands, lift him up off the ground, and then punching with that backside. You can also finish with a two-handed thrust right into his nose for self-defense. I'll switch back to your hiking pole, your walking stick, to show you the same techniques. Punch, turn, backhand, step in with that thrust, bring the backhand forward, and thrust. Now, there's so many more things that you can do, but that's a good opening set of combinations for you to practice using a hiking stick or a painter's pole, anything that is longer than your hip. This isn't the walking stick. This thug stopping stick is a hiking pole. It's a trekking pole. But you can easily smash, strike, bring it, or let's see, we stepped in, we brought it in here, and then you bring this back through here, finish off with that thrusting motion. Now, it might be that you're holding your hiking pole in your front hand when the threat comes. He whips out a blade or something like this, and all you have is a 5-foot pole or an 8-foot pole, like in the case of that expandable painter's pole. What are you going to do? You point your thumb, getting it into the backhand. Well, all I did was this. All you're going to do is point your thumb, step in, and thrust. The nice thing about this is as you're thrusting, you can allow it to slide through that front hand, almost like a pole cue. Thrust, giving you more reach from this position, sliding it back so that now you can bring that backhand in, striking into his face, which brings the length of your hickory self-defense, Joe. This is a Cane Master stick. This is in the description below if you want to see what these are. These are the Cane Masters. They make a Joe, which is a 54-inch, and they make a bow, which is that long 70, almost like a quarter staff, a 72-inch pole for self-defense. But you point the backhand, thrust from here, slide this one forward. Now slide the hand down, bring it down directly in a vertical strike, chopping him on the top of his head for self-defense, trying to knock him out. He's got a knife. You want to take away his ability to use the knife by turning off his operating system, by knocking him out. That's an active self-protection. You have to protect yourself using your thug stopper self-defense stick. Point, thrust, smash, smash here. One of my favorite things from here is to bring that backhand up, almost like an uppercut, breaking his jaw. Hopefully his tongue got stuck out there between his teeth. And when you hit it, his tongue will go flopping off in the ground. And if he runs away, the cops can pick up his DNA off of that tongue, go find that piece of scum, put him in jail where it belongs. Just imagining defending yourself against a thug from here who pulls out a knife trying to take away your life, your freedom, your dignity, and you, in an act of self-protection, use your thug stopper self-protection stick. Point the thumb, thrust. And again, that thrust, you want to practice letting it slide through your hand. When you do that, turn this one up. So if your palm comes up, that locks it into place. So when you hit him, You don't go, or your arm doesn't come back, him closing the distance, especially with that knife, that's a bad thing. Your whole body will then move back. And then you can move forward again, sliding your front hand down, using the hand to slide along the length of your staff, your self-protection stick, and smashing against the side of his head, bringing the front hand forward again, sliding the back hand down, chopping on the top of his head, finishing off. There's that sliding motion again, bringing the back hand up. Think about a palm strike, using the heel of your palm right there on the bottom of his chin, smashing everything in its way for self-defense. From here to here, down over the top, and then up under his chin, all using your hiking stick or your Japanese Joe. You might have a Joe, or in the front hand, here's your painter's pole. Point the thumb, thrust, smash that backhand forward, smash the top under or over the top of his head, take away his operating system for self-defense. These are self-defense principles. Bring the backside up under his chin. Maybe you catch him in the groin on the way up. Maybe you smash the hand and knock the knife out of his hand right before you smash his teeth, breaking them, knocking them out for self-defense using your painter's pole. So that's hiking staff, painter's pole. And again, the nice thing about this one, can't even show you, it's 8 feet long if you had to. The Japanese, not just the Japanese, European martial arts soldiers who fought with spears before gunpowder was invented were very powerful and effective using this long staff, or using the length of their spear against swordsmen, against soldiers with other types of weapons. So we know that the spear is very effective. We know quarterstaff is very effective. We know the bow, the Joe, all those staffs are effective. Now, the question will come up, well, what if he has a gun? You're probably going to get shot. That's the answer to that. If he's asking for your stuff, give it to him. Don't lose your life over your stuff. That's not what this video is about. This video is about the mentally ill, the crazy. There was a woman in North Olmsted, Ohio, I think it was. Decent area. She went into a store, thrift store, picked up a couple knives, stole them, walked out and started stabbing people. Stabbed a little baby, 3-year-old child, lost his life. Mother got stabbed. And she's just nuts, angry. I don't know why she did it. They don't know why. They haven't said why. They probably know why. But the point is, if you have a stick and she has a knife, you have the ability to defend yourself. You have an advantage. Now, do you want to fight somebody with a knife? No. If you can get out of there. Was she looking for that woman's money? No. She was just trying to kill people and hurt people. And she was successful in what she wanted to do. There are so many countless incidents every day now happening around the world of people who are being, I think, demonically possessed, or drugs, or belief systems, or whatever. Who cares what the reason is? You need to learn how to defend yourself, and these are just some simple things you can do. Now, if you didn't have a long walking stick like that hiking pole, you could also use Blaze the Doja says, pepper spray. Yes, I recommend, if you want to do pepper spray, getting pepper gel instead of pepper spray. When you spray the pepper and it gets in the air, whether it's pepper or the CS gas or whatever, you're going to get a lot of it on you too, and you'll be choking too. Your eyes are going to burn. It's going to be in the whole area. It's going to be in the whole room. If you have pepper gel, you can squirt it. It usually goes a little bit further. It's sticky. It's going to stick on her face or his face, and it's going to be very effective. It's going to be more effective than the spray. So if you do want to do that, or do both, do all three. I conceal carry when I go about my day, especially if I'm with my family. I need to protect my family. That's very important to me. I have that tool as an option. I always have a blade on me. I can't carry the blade or the gun into certain places. I can't take it to courthouse, which I have to go to from time to time. I cannot take it into big concerts, which I like to go to with my wife. I can't take it into certain places. I can't take it to airport. Can't take it into public transportation. We've got the fast trains down here now. You can't take it through there. There's a guard, an armed guard, and a couple of them. And then you walk through the metal detector. And if you have that on it, they're going to take it away from you. or if you try to take it in the wrong place, you're going to get arrested. So you can't take them everywhere you go, but you can carry a walking stick everywhere you go, and you can carry a cane. We'll talk about that too in a minute. But this is just an Irish shillelagh 36-inch walking stick. It doesn't have to be the Irish blackthorn like this one, made in County Wicklow in the city of Wicklow. I think it's I don't know if it's County Wicklow. It's made in the city of Wicklow. Anyway, you have a walking stick, 36 inches. You can also use a dowel rod, make your own walking stick. That's what I do. Sand it down really well, oil it up. With your hand on the top of your cane, you need to defend yourself against some thug. You have a thug stopper self-protection stick. You can slide your hand down the back, bring it up and do a punch, smacking them across the face with the length of it, bring it up under their chin, bring it down over the top of their head, get it into the front hand, thrust here, slide your hand here, smashing here, using the ball there, right into the throat or into the nose, knocking them back. You can chop with it, smashing against the side of his face or into his neck. But it's just a walking stick. You can have it in the front hand, slide your hand down the front, put it between you and him, almost like a sword. You can thrust. You can bring it off of your shoulders with diagonal strikes. You can bring it up from your hips with a diagonal strike. You can bring it through with horizontal strikes and smashing down over the top of his head into this hard piece of wood is going to crack. Either going to knock him out or crack his skull for self-defense. That's an act of self-protection or self-protection act, right? So we talk about active self-protection. Instead of passive, we want to move past the passive, move past waiting for somebody else to come and save us. They might not get there fast enough. They might be there within minutes, and that might not be fast enough. So how do we protect ourselves? How do we take the frame of active self-protection? How do we put ourselves in that frame? How do we get into that mindset? So front hand sliding down the front, bring it up, thrust, angle strike, angle coming up off of both sides, smashing through, smashing on top, get it into the front hand, thrust, smashing, boxing his ears, turning the wrist, Irish style, Irish stick fighting style, smashing this way. Now, he might have a knife, she might have a knife, and you have this length. So that's in your favor. This length, this reach advantage that you have works is very effective with this kind of stick, just a simple walking stick. You might also have a walking cane. You can take the walking cane with you anywhere and everywhere you go. It has this crook. This is a self-defense walking cane made by Cane Masters, which is the gold standard of self-defense canes. Put a link in the description below if you need to get one. This is their most inexpensive one. It's a very simple dojo training cane. You're holding it in your hand, you smack it up under his legs or under the chin. Maybe he's reaching out, trying to stab you or hit you or grab you. You break that hand. You can then turn your wrist over, just like you're slapping the top of his head, cracking his skull. You can bring it through, bring it back. You can swing it through your hands like this. It's very powerful, very effective. This hard oak, or you can have this one made in hickory, is going to hit extremely hard. And again, what can you remove or destroy? His ability to see, be awake, break his jaw, knock his eye out of his head. You can slide your hand down the back, lift this up like a big fist coming right into his face, smashing with that knuckle. You can bring this up under his chin, put it in your front hand, chopping with the backside, this piece here into his jaw, into his eye, pop his eye out of his face for self-defense, rip his nose off, rip the teeth out of his mouth for self-defense, stick it in his neck, smashing all the nerves in his neck, lifting this up under his chin, breaking his teeth for self-defense. Very effective. Maybe wrap it behind his neck, pulling him down as you smack your elbow into his head for self-defense. And you have this ability to defend yourself, just a simple walking cane. This one has this beveled edge. That's to reach in and grab something and rip it off for self-defense. This is a self-defense cane, but it's a simple walking cane. Take this anywhere and everywhere you go. You can put it into the ribs. Maybe you're sitting, waiting for the bus or waiting for the train or waiting for the subway, minding your own business. Some threat comes in. You can put your hands up very quick. Hey, back up. You're too close. Smash it up. Lift it up. Smash him between his legs. but it's a very effective thug stopper, self-defense stick, and it's a walking cane, so it goes anywhere and everywhere you go. Now, the theme is we're getting shorter as we go through our self-defense thug stoppers. Now, this one, you might have a hard time carrying this with you everywhere you go because it looks like what it is, which is, I need a little lengthen that one. It's a war club. It's basically a war club. It's in the Irish shillelagh family. It's an Irish fighting stick. It's briarwood. It is also made in Wicklow by the Irish shillelagh makers. You can put an Irish shillelagh or shillelagh Wicklow, and it'll take you to the original family that makes these. This is also filled with lead shot, which makes it just an effective self-defense tool. If you are into active self-protection and you're thinking, what can I do? What can I, maybe this stays in your home. I keep this in the house. This one, it's near the bed. You hear something go bump in the night. You pick it up. I also pick up one of these with the light on the end. And I practice. If you do that, if you do use this for self-defense in the home, especially if you have a family, make sure you dry fire throughout your house, know your sectors of fire, your angles of fire, know where everybody is so you don't hit somebody you're not supposed to. Anyway, you guys know that. All right, so from here, your hands are up, one foot's in front of the other one. You have those basic angular strikes. You have your horizontal or vertical strikes, horizontal strikes. You can go for the knees if you need to. Maybe he's reaching again with that knife or that weapon. Maybe he's got a machete, and you smash the hand and the bones. Now, if you hit the bone with this hard piece of root, this knot right here, then you're going to break whatever you hit. You're going to smash that, and you're going to effectively defend yourself using this self-defense tool. This is one of the best things that you can carry, but this is not something that you're likely to be able to take with you. You're not going to take this on the plane. I can't imagine you'll be able to convince anybody to do that. But I think that if you were able to put this in your house, if you needed something in your house for self-defense, this would be a really good choice. This is we're not going to stick with it that long just because it's, of all the thug stopper self-defense sticks, this is the least likely that you're going to have to carry. But when I was cleaning things out today, I found it and I started practicing. And I like to use it as a mace, and I like to use it as a club bell and do all the things that you can do with that. It's good for your shoulders, but it's super effective for self-defense. All right, so a little bit shorter. We're going to go with the Kali, Eskrima, our knee sticks. These are generally the length of your arm. These are made out of aircraft grade aluminum, and they have this piece here. When I first got these, I used to cut my hands on them a lot because of the sharp edges. If you strike in self-defense, you're going to cut flesh easily with one of these. So if you do want to learn how to defend yourself using a tool like this, there are many ways that you can use it. If you go to like a Kali or a Salat or an Eskrima or an East class, they're going to give you a lot of the traditional things, and you're going to do practices with sticks and knives. But I want to show you how to use it very simply, and that is put it between you and your threat. The first thing you're going to do is just practice this angle coming off your shoulder, never from out here, but always through the shoulder, going through the center line of his body, coming each side. Practice 1, practice 2, turn the hand palm up. 3, coming off the hip, palm down. 4, coming off the opposite hip. So you have angle 1, angle 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to go through a horizontal strike. There are more angles than this, but I want you to practice for self-defense. I want you to keep it simple. 5, 6, and then 7, coming down on the top of his head, putting your other hand, shoulder to hip, hip to shoulder, side to side. When you come across and your palm is facing up, that's so it doesn't come popping out of your hand. Palm down, coming through the other way, and then down on top of his head. Other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to add this jabbing motion up under his chin or into his nose or into his teeth for self-defense, or maybe into the solar plexus, into the belly button, into the groin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then switching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just get yourself a stick. You can get a 36-inch stick cut it in half, and then you'll have the Japanese Okinawan Tanbo, which is now a little bit shorter. I was going to say put it to your shoulder, but it goes from your elbow to the tip of your finger. And then you have the length coming out of your pinky side. This is one way to hold it. This keeps him from grabbing hold of it because you're going to have the longer part. He grabs hold of that, grab the bottom and smash it up under his chin, breaking his teeth. Fight from behind your club or your stick, your tanbo, thrusting motion, hooking motion. So you want to practice thrust, hook, uppercut, and then a reverse hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, all in one combination so that you start to learn how, and you might not use that combination in self-defense, but it's just simple self-defense stick, fighting, thug stopper, self-defense when you need an active self-protection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then slide it into your hand this way. 6, 7, and then 8 coming up under his chin. Now, are there more ways to hit him than that? It's limited by your imagination. There's no wrong way to do it, and you don't need to worry about techniques. You need to think about principles. What's the principle of self-defense? Situation awareness. Pay attention to what's happening. Don't let the crazy lady coming out of the store with 2 kitchen knives in her hand get close enough to harm you and your family. If you see her, that's if you can see her coming. But we get so comfortable with where we go in our daily routine, we stop paying attention. And then by the time you realize how bizarre it is that she's coming, she's too close. And then you have to defend yourself, and hopefully you survive. But if you can, pay attention, stay off your phone, put it in your bag, put it in your pocket. Don't pay attention to your phone, pay attention to what's around, especially when you're outside of your house. But number 2, get in a better position, put your hands up and open, get behind a stick if you have one, use a verbal command, back up, take a deep breath, calm your mind for just a brief second and ask yourself, what can I remove or destroy? His ability to see, breathe temporarily, permanently, his ability to breathe and stand up. Wherever you're going to remove or destroy his eyesight, his hearing, his ability to breathe through his nose, his ability to breathe through his neck, right? That's permanent. But then you're going to strike it. Once you acquire your target, this comes from Tim Larkin's book, When Violence is the Answer, which is in the description below. Read that book if you're at all serious about self-defense for yourself and your family. And if you are looking for active self-protection, that's where you start. You start with Tim Larkin's book, When Violence is the Answer. Thrust here, smash his ear, smash his other ear, smash up under his chin. You can also bring the length of it, smacking this way, thrusting down on top, slide your hand here, thrusting down too. You can do those same angles you just did with that FMA, the collie stick, doing that. And then practice in both hands. Thrust, 1, 2, 3, 4, make that 4, 5, slide it here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, smashing the top of his head, palm striking, elbow, smashing this way, all for self-defense, using, and this, by the way, is one of your self-protection sticks, one of your self-defense sticks. From here to here, you put that into his throat, or against the side of his head, or into his jaw, or up under his chin, or into his ribs, or to the side of his head. In self-protection, you're going to knock him out. All right. Then we have my pocket sticks, and got one that I made out of wood. It's also a, this is called a Yawara. Some people say, oh, that's a Kubotan. Well, Mr. Kubota or Master Kubota or Sensei Kubota, whatever you want to call him, he came up with the Kubotan, which is keychain, which is a stick, but it's basically based on a Yawara pocket stick, which predates Mr. Kubota. And he'd tell you if he were here, we were talking, he'd say, yeah, I bet it based it on the Yawara, the pocket stick. But it's just Okinawan, Japanese style, a lot of different styles. Put it in your hand, and now you have a loaded fist, and you can smash really hard against the side of his jaw or up under his chin, or smashing his nose, or striking with the tip here and raking down his face, or sticking it in his ear, sticking it into his neck. Maybe he's behind you, sticking it into his groin or his private parts. When we say groin, we really mean his privates. Smash him in there, hit him here in the solar plexus, knock his wind out, smash him there, turning, striking against the side of his head or his neck. There's a process of nerves in there. When you strike it correctly and you move in, then sometimes can flush the blood out of his head. He drops to the ground unconscious for just a moment. That's enough for you to get out of there and stay safe. That's a good act of self-protection. This is a Sharpie marker, obviously, but you can do the same thing with it. It's not as hard as this oak Uwara that I make. I make these, if you want to, you can make your own. Get a dowel rod, either an inch or an inch and a half of hardwood, cut 6 inches, which depending on how big your fist is, will either pop out a little bit or a lot more, and then carve the ends and then shape it with some sandpaper, smooth it up so you don't get splinters in your hands. You have little soft baby hands. And then oil it up. Soak it in oil for a couple days. Use butcher block oil, or I'll send you one that I'll make. I'll make it for you. The link is below if you want one. Go look at that. But you use this for self-defense. And if you don't have that, maybe you've got one of these. They even make bigger markers. They make those dry erase board, those Expo markers are awesome for self-defense. You squeeze it, same thing. It's a loaded fist. Now you're smashing here. You strike him down on top. You swing your whole arm into his ear or into his neck or into his ribs. You can even stick it into that chest muscle and then push down and hit that nerve and then just keep pushing and pushing and make him off. Or if he's on top of you and he's trying to take away your life, your dignity, your freedom, you stick that in there and then you just keep pushing until he either backs up and lets go or you crush that windpipe, which won't take much. And then he expires and you save your own life, because it's your right of active self-protection. It's also your right to use self-defense sticks, thug stoppers for self-defense. These just thug stopping sticks that we make. And they're just simple. Learn how to fight with sticks, and then you take sticks wherever you go. You find sticks wherever you are. You'll be able to defend yourself. All right. There's a lot of comments in the chat today. All this is, Macho Mike says, all this is for self-defense only. It's not this is all self-defense. So if you needed that disclaimer, which is obvious, right? I'm not even, if you go out looking for a fight, you're an idiot. I'm just going to say that. If you want to do street fighting, you want to do whatever, this is not for you. I don't teach how to win street fights. I teach you how to defend yourself, how to defend your life, how to defend your dignity, how to defend your freedom and the life, the dignity, and the freedom of your family. You need to be alert, be aware, and be prepared. That comes from Tim Miller at Lionheart Skills. If you haven't followed Tim Miller yet, you got to follow him. He put up a video. He breaks down a lot of these situations that are happening. And I either learn about them and we talk about them, or I learn about them from his channel. You can learn a lot. Tim's former Secret Service. He's a retired Marine colonel and is a retired cop. So this guy knows everything about self-defense, security, keeping your family safe, keeping your business safe, keeping your church safe, your school safe. Anyway, if you haven't done it, you type in Tim Miller Lionheart and you'll find him here on YouTube. And he breaks down a lot of the things that are happening in the world around us, which then inspires me to make videos like this to say, hey, learn how to defend yourself. God gave you the right of self-protection, gave you the right to self-defense, but you might have to do something about it. You might have to learn a couple of skills if you're serious and about safety and keeping your family safe. Anyway, you guys have been awesome. A lot of good trolls in the comment sections today, but I see a lot of guys like Rick and Adrish, and I appreciate all you guys. Sam, love to see you guys here. Like to see all the new people. It's good to see you guys too. I don't mind all the new comments and newcomers coming in. Love to see you guys too. When I get inappropriate comments, I'll ban them. But for the most part, you guys have been awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, so that we can keep sharing these. I make these in the garage in the summertime in South Florida. It's an unair conditioned garage. It's like 112 degrees here. So it gets a little warm. That's why I sweat a lot. And it's almost like it's a moving meditation for me to make these. It's good sweating. It's almost like I'm in the sauna. It feels good when I'm done. But the most important thing is that we get to work out together, and I get to see you guys in these. So I'll see you guys in a little bit, and we're going to make another one tomorrow. I have the long staffs coming. We're going to do some long staff this weekend.